Is the Iran conflict finally over? Is the silver price, the gold price, the stock market set for a cataclysmic pump? Guys, we're going to break down exactly what you need to know in this video because we have some critical information that has literally broken moments ago. I'm going to deliver that to you. I'm going to tell you exactly how the financial markets are reacting to this. And truthfully, is this thing really over? So there is a big kind of celebratory feel. But I think we just have to be cautious with this. We're going to give you both sides of the story so you can make up your own mind. But I have to say, if you're holding gold, silver, stocks, or whatever it might be, you're going to be sitting happy today. And oil, on the other hand, is plummeting quite a bit. You can see it right here, dropping a significant amount in the last couple of moments, and US oil now below $100. So let's get straight into this one. If you like these important updates, geopolitics, gold, silver, make sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video as well, appreciate that. We'll try and get more than 10 likes and hopefully above 100 views on this video. We seem to get stuck at about 50, 60, 70 views. Now, having said that, let's get straight into it. So the important thing to know is there has potentially been a very surprising ceasefire brokered between Iran and the US. Now, the prelude to this, though, you have to get the pre-story to this, is if you didn't see the tweets before these ceasefire tweets came out, this was Trump's most recent tweet in the last day. Check this out if you haven't seen this before. He says, "A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radicalized minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary wonderful can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight, one of the most important moments in the long, complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the great people of Iran." Now, I have to say, look, that first sentence, totally out of control. That's almost like a genocidal statement against a country and a nation. But that is, that is something we have seen out of Trump, some just crazy tweets recently. So that big threatening tweet came out. And then Iran also came out with more statements saying, if the US attacks Iran's power plants, the whole entire region will fall into darkness. So it didn't really matter which way you cut it. This was going to be a cataclysmically destructive move with the prelude. So if Trump did go through with this, it would be terrible. But we did actually see some bridges get destroyed in Iran before the ceasefire was brokered, which was interesting. But having said that, just moments ago, this is what's kind of set off the rally in the market. So we'll cover both sides of the story, and we'll actually talk. Let's start listening to what the Iranians are saying. So this is the Iranian foreign minister. He says right here, "On behalf of the Islamic Republic of Iran, I express gratitude and appreciation for my dear brothers, he, Prime Minister of Pakistan Sharif, and he, Field Marshal Munir, for their tireless efforts to end the war in the region in response to the brotherly request of PM Sharif in his tweet, and considering the request by the US for negotiations based on its 15-point proposal as announcement by POTUS about acceptance of the general framework of Iran's 10-point proposal as a basis for negotiations, I hereby declare on behalf of Iran's Supreme National Security Council, if attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces will cease their defensive operations for a period of 2 weeks. Safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces and with due consideration of technical limitations." So what the Iranians are saying right here is it is going to be a 2-week ceasefire, and they have indicated that POTUS has accepted the general framework of Iran's 10-point proposal. Now that's interesting. So it does seem like Trump kind of went to what the Iranians proposed. And this was it. So we covered it in yesterday's video, but to reiterate the point, they have pivoted to Iran's side, which is kind of unexpected, but I think there's a twist to this that we'll get to as well. So Iran's 10-point plan includes guarantee that Iran will not be attacked, permanent end to the war. They have obviously modified this one because it is a 2-week ceasefire. End to Israeli strikes in Lebanon, lifting of all US sanctions on Iran, end to all regional fighting against Iranian allies. In return, Iran would open the Strait of Hormuz. Iran would impose a Hormuz fee of $2 million per ship. Iran would split these fees with Oman. Iran to provide rules for safe passage through Hormuz, Iran to use Hormuz fees for reconstruction instead of reparations. Okay, so that is what it does appear the negotiations have pivoted to, right? And Trump has come out and he has also had his statement, and his statement says this. He says, based on conversations with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif and Field Marshal Azmin Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran, and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agreed to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with the definitive agreement and concerning long-term peace with Iran and peace in the Middle East. We received a 10-point proposal from Iran and believe it is a workable basis on which to negotiate. Almost all of the various points of past contention have been agreed to between the US and Iran, but a 2-week period will allow the agreement to be finalized and consummated. On behalf of the US of America, as president and also representing the countries of the Middle East, it is an honor to have this long-term problem close to resolution. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So I have to say, the twist right here is it is a 2-week ceasefire, and nothing has really, formally been agreed. So you can see right here, it's just a negotiation in practice. So this is interesting because, again, this can get broken at any moment. And what else is interesting is this does give, to some degree, as we said previously in the videos, an advantage to, say, the US, because this is going to give the opportunity to rearm all the interceptors and all the missiles that they're running low on. Okay, so this, from a military point of view, that's what it's happening. But also from a civilian point of view for Iran, let's be upfront though, they didn't get their power plants blown up, and but they did get some bridges blown up yesterday. So there was actually quite a few bridges going down in northwest of Iran. That was my understanding. So a lot of bridges and highways actually got blown up too. So it's interesting. So you have to be cautiously optimistic about this. This can get broken at any moment. Whether Trump actually agrees to this 10-point plan in the long term, look, we're going to see. We're going to see how this plays out, whether that's actually true, and he actually does agree to the 10-point plan, because again, this would reshape the Middle East. But he's indicated that he's open to it. But we've seen in the past things can change. So is this just an opportunity for the markets to breathe, moon for a couple of weeks before it getting dragged into a longer term conflict? We're going to see whether that plays out, because it could also be that opportunity just to resupply, rearm, and go again in say 2 weeks as well. But having said that, let's talk about the financial markets, because wow, it has had some cataclysmic moves. So the biggest one, which people will notice when going to the fuel pump, is this oil plummeting. So $116 actually got as low as $90. So nearly a $30 drop on oil right there, which has been absolutely crazy. After that announcement came out, gold and silver are looking solid. So look at that, nice action coming in for silver off that news. And my new updated theory about silver is, as we've witnessed during this conflict, there is, the double spooky effect, or the mega fear effect. When the markets do get very fearful, we did see that sell off on silver. We did see that. But silver tends to do extremely well in a somewhat, bullish inflationary economy, which I think we're pivoting back towards. So don't forget, in terms of monetary spending, in terms of inflation, in terms of US national debt, none of those problems are resolved, and there's still a lot of problems in the world. And that's what assets such as gold, silver, commodities, copper, this is all, I think it's looking bullish long term. That's my kind of take on the commodities right now. So gold, heading back towards nearly $5,000, a little bit of a call off. We also have to be cautious in the interim, because there are still missiles flying through. So there are missiles going left and right. There's still drones going through. So it's a very confusing ceasefire. And you can actually see right here that both the UAE and Qatar have stated they have dealt with Iranian waves of ballistic missiles and drones since the ceasefire went into effect. But we have also heard the Iranians come out and basically say that it might take time for the orders to reach the troops, because they operate in a very decentralized manner. So we're going to find over the next 24 hours whether this is a real ceasefire, whether this is a real pump up in the markets, or is this just another pump and dump. We're going to find out about that. But again, just if this maintains and the bullish sentiment, the peace sentiment does maintain, guys, expect a massive day on the stock market tomorrow. So US futures potentially might be roaring, might be one of the biggest days, but we will see, right? We're going to see how this plays out. There's so much force now flowing through the financial market. So this is like a very, very rocky ocean. Today is a good day though, but we will see, how this all plays out in the next 24 hours. And again, another massive 24 hours. Who would have seen this coming? I didn't see the ceasefire coming because I thought the Iranians wouldn't agree to it, but potentially they have. And again, it does give the opportunity for the US to resupply, but we'll see whether this is the real deal, and we'll cover it in more details coming up in the future. So if you want the next update, subscribe to the channel, like the video. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Big day on the markets, and I'll see you in the next one.